was to announce great things would happen on this certain day, and then they tended to fly rockets around the planet on the computer and then say, all this.
Well, I suppose the rocks
I think I'm
Robert Perry with the endless run. Wind on the clock.
the children say life is not is just a determination to explore, and then a realization that nobody really knows much about this. It's like most things. People don't really know much about anything. And that it's a perfectly reasonable move to be self-reliant. And so be self-reliant and explore. And keep your mind open and your powder dry and your vote in your hip pocket. And be nobody's fool. At some point, I think in this, it was said, or I considered the possibility of another bumper sticker, the one which says, psychedelic or clueless, because it sort of seems to divide down that way. Armchair philosophizing of all varieties is pretty one-dimensional. And the fact that we have this these shamanic plants present at hand, and that they so dramatically transform reality, the whole motivation for my career is just, I cannot imagine people going from the cradle to the grave without ever finding this out. That leaves me squirming. It's like thinking about somebody never finding out about sex. But, sex rears its ugly head. I mean, few people escape. Sooner or later, salamanders remain fish-like as long as there's a river around. It's not till the river dries up, even after being fish for 40 generations, that they discover that in a crisis of dryness, they in fact sprout legs and hike into the woods. So a culture that doesn't support self-experimentation and transformation of consciousness is a culture somewhat forever infantile. And then the values that it creates for itself are infantile. So I think people should just play with a full deck. And you don't have to like psychedelics or affirm it or preach it. In fact, you're fully free to deny it, denounce it, and so forth. But the simple point is, you should know that this exists in the same way that any other part of reality is potentially worthwhile information. I mean, we live with our minds, privately, publicly. We can never take it off, rarely turn it off, always come back to it. The quality of mind is the primary quality of your existence. And if we're uncomfortable in our mind, or cramped in our mind, frightened in our mind, or deluded in our mind, then quality of life is diminished. And we have been so jacked beyond what your culture allows, sanctions, tolerance, so forth and so on. And for some people this never happens. For most people I think it happens in middle age. After they've made all the blunders and paid all the bills, then they suddenly realize culture was not my friend. It used and abused me, and now I can inject it out the other end. Youth now has no excuse or reason to make that same mistake. There are plenty of examples all around to be learned from. So young people, I hope, will completely leap over the slavish devotion to cultural values phase that so many of us experienced at such cost to our happiness, and simply move into a post-historical, tribal, psychedelic celebration of the moment of experience, sexuality, community, hope, destiny. And regardless of what you think of psychedelics or drugs or any of that, consciousness is got to be what the human journey through time is about. I mean, if the future does not hold more consciousness, then what kind of future could it possibly be? So, if we take ourselves and the world seriously, then the idea that there are ways to expand consciousness means there's almost a moral obligation to explore them. Otherwise, we are slipping backwards. If the world is not being born to transformation through consciousness, then it's dying under anesthesia. There's no in-between, no equilibrium. And so to the degree that each one of us is more conscious, pays more attention, looks more deeply, feels more clearly, communicates more directly, the sum total of the enterprise of being is advanced. Because remember, what nature treasures, produces, and strives after is novelty. And the coordination of novelty in the domain of feeling, a nexus of feeling, and a perceiving and appreciating mind. And there may be many such minds in nature, but the only one you can be sure of is your own. So it sort of falls upon you as your turf to perfect and make exemplary and communicate to other people. And the means by which this happens is entirely trivial. I advocate psychedelic plants because it's rooted in our human past and because it works. But the important thing, I think, is to feel the felt presence of the moment and to understand that you represent some kind of bizarre nexus of energy, chemistry, spirit, and time that is unique in eternity. And for what? Who knows? Why? Who knows? For how long? Who knows? But the important thing is, as long as it's happening, it represents opportunity. And a unfolding dimension of hope is what a human existence is meant to be. Thank you very much. Drive safely, and I very much appreciate all of you.
Amanda.